Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at the recently released real grade Crossbone Gundam X1. Now, I know everyone's already done the reviews on this kit, and I'm the last one getting to it, but it was actually kind of hard to get here in Korea online. A lot of the online shops have been just sold out for a while, but it's here now finally, and I'm looking forward to getting it built up and reviewing it and giving you guys my thoughts on the kit. So let's get into it. As always, here, really cool box art with it being the real grade, same style box art that we see with all the kits. Just got this really cool close-up here of the face, and then nice just CG render there of the full Gundam there. This is part of the Gunpla Evolution project, and I think all of the Gunpla Evolution project kits have like a certain point, and I think the certain point, like the special point of this one, is just the detail on the really tiny parts for this, because as everyone knows, the Crossbone is a really tiny Gundam, and this being in 1/144 scale is just a lot of really tiny parts on this. So we all are very much aware of that. I'm not going to keep coming back to that point again and again over the course of this unboxing review. Yes, there's a lot of really tiny parts in this. We'll see those, and I'll try not to lose any. But let's get around here, around to the rest of the box. This is number 31 in the real grade line. Down here at the bottom, just a little message saying the real system delivers incredible realism at 1/44 scale. And then here about the evolution point. So again, like it's just talking about the extreme detail on this kit. So you have extreme details with the little details for like the eye patch and the skull and crossbones on the front of the head and on the weapons and everything. So yeah, it's very detailed. And one of the coolest things about this kit, I think, is that it actually includes the cloak actually included in there. That just seems like perfect fodder for Bandai. Could have sold that as a P Bandai add-on or something for this, but fortunately they did not. So that is very, very nice. And here on the top of the box, we've got some more action poses here with the cloak, without the cloak, using the beam brand, the sword, the rifle, and the knives coming out of the bottom of the feet, and the scissor anchor there out the front of the skirt armor. So it's got pretty much all the gimmicks and accessories you would want for a Crossbone X1. The only thing that it doesn't have is the Peacock Smasher, which I think that's only for the full cloth version actually, but I'm sure we'll see plenty of variations of this kit out in the later future. I believe the list price for this, if I remember correctly, was 2,700 yen, making it just slightly more expensive than your standard real grade, which typically the standard price point for them has been 2,500 yen. Here we can see on the inside of the box, it's kind of also standard for a lot of real grades have this. We've just got some images of some different versions of the kit. So here we've got the HG F91 Gundam with the compared to the RG Crossbone Gundam X1, different HG kits. There's the HG Crossbone, the F91, and the Harrison's F91. Around on the other side, the RG and the HG, just comparison of the two kits there. Strangely, no master grade on the outside of the box. I don't know why they didn't put that on there. A lot of times they'll do like the same design in all the different grades. But anyway, some really nice, fantastic looking effect parts on there, and of course the sticker sheet. Sticker sheet looking quite small as far as real grades go. It's usually about like double that size, so I guess the kit is small, so decals are also going to be small. That makes sense, I guess. Our multicolor runner there, which I guess is the A runner, and then the B runner, which is typically like the inner frame part for the real grade, looking very minimal. It's another one of these recent real grades that doesn't really have a whole lot of the pre-molded inner frame there, just a couple of parts there, basically it looks like. Some white parts, some gray parts, and white parts, some more gray parts, and then let's take a look at our manual here. So again, as usual, it's just the close-up of the Crossbone's face on there on the front. On the back, here is our sticker marking sheet, so where to place all those sticker decals around on the kit and on the weapons and accessories and everything. Color guide is there at the bottom in Japanese and English, and then a color guide for the pilot figures also here as well. Opening up to the first page, parts list relatively small for this. I mean, again, it's a small kit, so don't need a whole lot of runners, I guess. But even here on the D runner, we've got two of those, and you've got a handful of them X'd out, so you will have a handful of leftover parts here. It looks like mostly just from that one single runner. Then in here on the first page, before you start the construction, you have a little bit here about the battle between the Jupiter Empire and the Crossbone Vanguard, a group of space pirates. So a little bit of information here about the story, I guess, and the Crossbone Gundam X1. Very fine print on there, but I'm sure there's plenty of information on the Wikipedia page if you want to read more up about that. It'll probably be your best bet. But if you get the kit and you're looking just for some bathroom reading material, take the manual in with you, I guess. So this goes on through the construction of that. Let's see if there's anything else too interesting to take a look at in here. As usual with the recent real grades, this second section of photos here, which usually focuses on the weapons or something, this time focusing on the core fighter, doesn't have any English in this section of that, unfortunately. But moving on, let's see, there's a little bit more here. Also, here's a section about the weapons, but again, no English here as well, only in Japanese. You can see some nice photo references there though. And then just here about kind of interesting layout for how to use some of the different gimmicks. So some of the gimmicks with like the brand and the shield and the scissor anchors. So it's kind of cool how they have like just the crossbone there in the center and then all the gimmicks just kind of laid out around it. So it's interesting layout just for that. Let's get a look into the runners. Alright, so once again here is that sticker sheet. You can see just a whole bunch of different caution markings there in white and red. And then some of the foil shinier ones there, which I guess will go around on probably some of the joint parts, as well as ones for the eyes, and of course the Crossbone Vanguard logos there, which will go on the front of the chest. Then runner A, a nice big 4-color runner here, some clear parts up at the top, some nice bright, slightly orangish yellow there over on the sides, really nice color for that. And then the red at the bottom as well. It's not a really bright red, it's a little bit kind of dark, dull red there, and then some of the blue all throughout the center. It's kind of like purplish blue as well, so the colors of this do look really quite nice. And then runner B is our advanced MS joint 14 here, just a couple of parts. It looks like maybe one for the torso and then one for the backpack, I think the core fighter basically. And the C runner here, a bunch of white parts. And one interesting thing to note about this is how we have parts over here on the side, parts for the head and the pilot figure are separated off to the side, so you can see how those could be omitted for different parts for different versions of the crossbone, undoubtedly coming in the future. Runner D, then the rest of our white parts here, obviously just parts for the arms, legs, and on the backpack, the core fighter, all the parts on here, just standard crossbone parts. We've got 2 of this D runner. Then runner E, in this kind of a little bit lighter gray color, you can see we've got some parts for frames as well as the hand options. Looks like we're going to have some nice open expressive hands there, as well as looks like trigger finger hands, closed fists, and holding hands. So a nice set of hands we got for this kid. That's a relief. And then runner F being the rest of our kind of frame and joint parts being the same color as runner E, so it seems like not really a whole lot of that typical RG like 2-tone color. So the armor is just all white, there's not 2 tones of white, and then the frame is just mostly just this one color of frame parts, except for what we saw, just a couple of pre-separated parts there on the B runner was in 2 tones of gray. But we've got 2 of these F runners. Runner H would be our parts here for the cloak, and it's really interesting. It just seems to be molded in just this one kind of dark brownish color, but it almost seems like it has a little bit of like metallic injected into it, but I don't think that it does. It just kind of gives the appearance of that, which is strange. But anyway, it looks really good. It looks great. And then runner G, obviously our beam effect parts for this. So just some standard beam sabers up there at the top, but then the rest of the beam effect parts are all looking pretty impressive and very sharp on there. So that is it for the unboxing, guys. Looks like it's going to be a pretty impressive kit. You know, I've got mixed feelings about the RG line. I'm not always very excited about the RG line, but this does look like it's going to be a pretty cool one. All the little tiny parts are going to be a pain, I think, when it comes to painting this thing. But as long as it stays together well enough for me to do the review without too much problems, then I'll feel good about this. So if you guys have any other further questions or comments, feel free to leave those down below. As always, huge thank you to us at Gundam Store for sponsoring the review. Do check out the link to their site there down below. You can get this kit and everything else there on their site with 10% off using that coupon code there, ZakuAurelius10. So with that, guys, I hope you all have a great day. I'll see you in the review. Bye bye.